Chainsaw Man.
Yeah,
Chapter 101.
Chainsaw Man.
After School Devil Hunters. Oh, it's like an after school special with devil hunting.
What's an after-school special?
Oh, that's like it was a thing on a lot of TV stations here. I don't know if you had it over there. It was that
Nope.
they would play it. They would play it at a time that's right after most schools get out. So it's an after-school special, and usually it would be stuff geared towards kids that would have a moral at the end of the story. So
doesn't that count for all TV shows for children? They all have to be after school. What makes them special?
I think it's because it's ones that were supposed to kind of teach kids as well. Maybe I'm not giving the best definition.
Yeah, that doesn't help me at all.
After School Special was an American television anthology series that would be late in the afternoon on weekdays only, and it was usually with dramatic situations that could be controversial, that would be of interest to children and teenagers, including illiteracy, substance abuse, and teen pregnancy. The series won 51 Emmy Awards. Wow.
Premarital sex.
Yeah, I gotta teach the kids about that. I don't think there was an after-school special about devil hunting, though. But in the Chainsaw Man world, there would be, because
there's some people
who need the public to think more about it.
I mean, there's some guy who's trying to do that in this chapter.
I know, that's what I was referencing.
To tell us.
Yeah.
He could die any moment.
Yeah, from devils. So this chapter, what do you want to say about the first page?
Okay, so there's I labeled
Yoshida again.
I labeled this page as an interesting page because there's two very notable things, I would say. One is that the second and third panels are split in the middle, even though they are depicting...
they're flipped.
Almost exactly, they're flipped. And that is, that's not really a new thing. That's not something that Fujimoto came up with. This happens all of the time. And he does that all of the time. Like, for instance, the final thing in Goodbye Eri, where they were standing in front of the screen.
Yeah, I was about to say,
both of them in.
It's like in Goodbye Eri, to give you the feeling of... although in that... Because in this, I would say it's to give you the feeling of panning across, because the path of your eye would...
It is, for one, it's really nice how many panels Fujimoto puts into his manga, because lots of times you get authors who limit themselves to only 3 panels per page.
Right.
Because more panels usually means more details. You have to draw a completely new thing.
And this page is so detailed. There's one page where there's no major characters. It's just setting up the location, and that is so incredibly detailed.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Look at this background. Even if this was 3D, even if
it would take so much time to set up. It's not like the flat square rooms of PPP.
Yeah, and it's filled with interesting stuff to look at. There's individual what's it called? Signs for establishments.
Right, and it's not just scribbles. You can tell they actually wrote stuff in there.
Yeah, you can tell what they are, and that gives you more indication to what kind of area this is. And there are somewhat erratic, as they are, utility posts, and people are walking around. And the people, the mother and child, the child looks kind of weird, and that
does that make it more realistic?
That alone makes it so much more unique and original than just seeing a shot of the very empty skyscrapers that Apollo 13 would be drawing in PPP.
Quote unquote drawing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was also going to contrast it to all of the posterized photograph backgrounds we get in Akane Banashi.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's like, is
drawn.
this the value of being on Jump Plus? Is getting the detail.
That's hard to tell because so far Fujimoto has been on a weekly basis. So
yeah, but you could say that these first 4 chapters are like pre-prepared of the last year.
Well, probably, yeah. Page has interesting paneling that's slightly unorthodox, but within the arsenal of somebody who knows what he's doing. Sometimes people don't know what they're doing, but when you know what you're doing,
is that the word you were looking for?
Repertoire, yes.
Repertoire.
And also, not every panel has a background, but when it does, it's
a good one.
Chef's kiss. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Some people need to
let's get some time
take
to appreciate the craft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next, after deciding they're going to go hunting devils in town instead of around school, and also they talk about there's no Yoshida today.
Yeah, that's
although
that's kind of unimportant. It's just like they don't suspect that anything's going on with Yoshida, even though he most likely suspects something's going on with Mitaka.
Yeah, most likely. I think since he's been a professional for a while and doesn't seem to have told them, we can assume that he is piecing things together and doing his own little investigation at the same time.
Maybe he's already even made contact with Denji and telling him, like, dude, you should watch out. The war devil is coming.
Yeah.
Other than that, Yuko and Mitaka are becoming best friends fast.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, on this page, look how many individual panels this page has. It's so many, and some of them are just the transition of Mitaka's facial expressions changing.
Yeah.
Like she's happy, then she kind of has to
not show.
And then she's happy again. Then she notices, shit, war devil.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, the panel where Yuka is like, okay, this is probably going to sound stupid, but this is us orphans hunting devils. That's manga stuff.
We're like manga characters. It's great. She's so true.
I love it.
Yeah, I wrote down this chapter. It's like, every week, gotta say, I love Yuko so much. She's a great character. She's a good friend, and she not only is the friend that all of us need, but she also, in some ways, represents us, the audience, in saying stuff like, these 2 orphans are like manga characters, and about how she's been really into Chainsaw Man lately.
Right.
She's just like us for real.
That just emphasizes, like, if you hadn't thought about it until now, this would be the moment where you immediately realize, she's going to die, isn't she?
Yeah. And it's such good timing, because I think last week I saw multiple other reviewers saying the same thing, like, she's gonna die, isn't she? And this week, the War Devil is like, yes, she should die.
Not just she's going to die, we should kill her.
We should kill her, because that would make her such a powerful weapon. She explains that I guess not on this page, but did you highlight the explanation she had?
No. Okay. I didn't need to. It was very intense, the way they look at each other and the camera zooms in on them. Yes. That was also really good, by the way. We don't have to show everything, and by the way,
nobody else can see war. So to the outside observer, like this old guy, it's just she's sitting there screaming at nothing.
Well, I mean, nowadays people could be wearing Bluetooth headphones that
she should wear them just so nobody thinks she's crazy. She's not actually ever listening to anything on them. She's like, oh, got headphones on.
Yeah,
yeah.
that would probably work nowadays.
Yeah, and the
Who knows if
explanation
it's
was
supposed
that
to be set in a world that has
we should kill
Bluetooth.
her because you're becoming friends now and you really like her. Oh, and she gives the "You aren't here to make friends" line, which
Yeah,
always good, a classic from reality competition shows. But War tells Mitaka that the guiltier you feel about it, the stronger the weapon that comes out of the person.
that's kind of weird.
And I was like, this. First of all, it's weird for a devil, because does that mean that, you know, in hell she was befriending other devils to kill them and turn them into weapons?
Possible.
And also I was like, oh, is this like going by Behelit rules from Berserk?
Also possible. I kind of didn't see any connection between War being connected to like how guilty you are, the better the weapon.
I didn't think so either, because like I don't know, we've only seen it once before, so I didn't really think about it much. But because it's Fujimoto, after all the one shots, I'm like on the lookout for things that could be metaphors to storytelling. Even though he told us just read the manga, I'm reading this like, oh, is this about being an author? Because the guiltier you feel when you kill off one of your characters, that probably means it's going to be more dramatic of a payoff when it happens in the manga.
I mean, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Could be not like a reference to real life stuff, but a reference to the craft of storytelling.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
Possible. I liked that Mitaka thinks to herself, I have to change the subject, forgetting about War Devil being able to read her mind.
Yeah.
But somehow War Devil kind of...
She goes along with it. She's like, okay.
Goes along with it eventually, and then it gets established that she just decides on a name to be called herself, because War Devil is kind of a mouthful. Kind of weird to say War Devil, especially when you, like, if you wanted to pretend that you're not talking to the devil who's inside of you. If you wanted to
saying
be
War
like,
Devil would be
that would be kind of a dead giveaway. So she picks a name that's phonetically.
Tell me about it, because I saw that, I was like, what is the meaning to this? Because, you know, previous fiends we've seen have silly names like Beam or Power, so it's like, what's the meaning of this name?
That's just a name she picks for herself, because Mitaka, we always say Mitaka. Her first name is Asa, which is morning. And Yoru is night.
Oh. How meaningful. They're like
and we're the very first reviewers who noticed this. It's such a deep and hidden meaning. Nobody's picked up on that. That's too far. The vocabulary. You need to be a scholar for that.
Oh, I didn't pick up on it. So
that's too bad.
Thank you for informing me.
How didn't you know that?
I know Asa is morning because Asa Gohan for breakfast. I did not know that Yoru is night. Now I do.
Incidentally, the wife from Spy X Family, her name is also Yoru.
Oh yeah, I guess you always see it written just Yor, but written in Japanese it'd be Yoru.
Yes.
Oh.
No, there's 2 in Jump Plus.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's gonna be lots of fan art of the War Devil wearing the Thorn Princess costume. Oh no. She's got such strong connections. She would feel so guilty if Lloyd and Anya died and turned into weapons. They would be so powerful.
What kind of weapon would they turn into?
Guns? Wow.
Lloyd would be a gun, right?
Yeah, probably. But what about Anya? Because she's psychic, so would it be some sort of psychic attack?
Hard to
say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can't
for
come
sure,
up with
they
anything
would
on
be
the spot.
extremely
That's too
powerful.
difficult.
She's got 2 spikes on top of her head. It would
Ah,
probably
okay.
turn into
So
something that would do some damage.
spiked knuckles.
Yeah. That seems too weak. Whatever. It would have superpowers. Yeah, so going on, like you said, in this chapter there's a bit where there's a person talking about how people should beware of devils more. Yeah, because he points out that 7 out of 20, which is kind of a strange number to say instead of like a percentage, but whatever. 7 out of 20 people die, or 7 out of 20 deaths are because of devils. And I'm like, that's so many.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Especially when you know what the numbers are nowadays in real life Japan.
What? It's 0 out of 20 in real life
Yeah.
Japan. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot of people get killed by devils, and he's complaining about how the media does not talk about it. But I was like, maybe that's on purpose because devils get stronger with fear from humans.
Ooh, that's true. I hadn't even thought about
so
that.
So maybe that guy warning everybody is actually making it worse, unless it's because devils get stronger based on people's fear of whatever concept they represent. So then that would only work for a devil, right?
Ah, yeah, I suppose.
But I mean, there presumably is a devil since there's an angel devil.
I can imagine that if you talk about a specific devil, let's say the gun devil, people get scared of the gun devil, but also of guns even more. Right?
Right.
That's what I would assume.
But
so
then if you say devils in
much
general, then it would just be the concept of devils. So it would only empower if there's a devil.
Yeah, but he wouldn't like if there's. I imagine it like, for instance, if you if there was a case where like the bat devil kills 5 people today, then the media would obviously talk about devil attacks were increasing or something like that. But they would definitely talk about the bat devil, and that would that itself would probably strengthen the bat devil. So that's why there must be like if it's really an arbitrary reason why they do it, and not just it just happens to be that the media is stupid. There might be a general embargo to not talk too much about devils in general, because talking about one specific devil would potentially power up that devil.
Right.
I can imagine there's a reasoning for that. I hadn't thought about it previously, but now that you mention it, I think that kind of checks out as a logic.
Yeah. And then immediately after they hear that, they see the Bat Devil attacking people. Do you think that the Bat Devil is now stronger or weaker than it was when it fought Denji in power?
I kind of forgot what it was like when...
Okay, because it...
And is that the first one who showed up when power got introduced?
Yeah,
the one
so...
she kind of made a deal with, and...
Yeah, because it had kidnapped her cat.
I think it's weaker now.
Yeah, because it looks smaller. Because I remember before it was so big that it was able to swallow power whole, and now it looks like it's taken some time to munch at one guy's arm.
Yeah, it's chewing that was so brutal. Chewing this guy's arm, just that's so brutal.
I know. It was like stretching too. He's like pulling it apart joint by joint.
Yeah, ripping it off.
Yeah, I remember a few weeks ago at the first chapter of part 2, then someone was comparing the final panel of War sitting down on all of the gore from the Justice Devil to some Renaissance painting or something, and I was like, maybe it's just stretching it, because I'm sure there's lots of paintings of people sitting like that. But then this week, when the Bat Devil is munching on that guy's arm, I saw somebody comparing it to, I think it was Francisco Goyo's painting of
Saturn eating his son.
Saturn eating his children. And
I
I was like,
remember
yeah,
the story of
that
the
is
painting,
too
right?
exact of a... Huh? What, the myth?
You remember the story of that
Yeah, I remember the
painting?
myth. Oh, no, a specific story of that painting?
Yeah, the painting.
Yeah, what about it?
That painting was only found after the painter had died.
Really?
Something like in his attic or something, where he
Oh,
kept
that's
all of
weird.
this freaky stuff,
Right.
and he never told anybody
Is
that.
there along with all of the R34 that he drew?
Well, that's what what's his name, Astro Boy author,
Mhm.
God damn it, what's his name?
Tezuka.
Yes, of course, Tezuka. That's what happened with his furry art.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
What? He
had
drew.
furry
He
art
drew.
and he just never showed
Yeah,
it
so
until after he
much.
died. That's
A
hilarious.
whole drawer of mouse sex and
Oh wow.
yeah.
I never knew.
So imagine you're the guy who's cleaning up from this painter
this
dude
painter.
dying,
And
and you open the door and like one of the freakiest paintings of the world is
Oh
just
yeah, that would be crazy.
that would be so crazy. And I think he had more of that flavor, but this one is his most famous
got
one.
so famous. Wow, and he never showed it until after he died. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a story. Anyway. Back to the Bat Devil. So, unfortunately, Yuko and Asa are not. They're not badasses like Power and Denji.
Yeah,
So-
whatever gave them the idea that they might be a match for any
I
devil.
know they are. They actually see this and they are absolutely terrified of it. And unfortunately, we learned that Yoru can't take over Asa when she's so scared. This is odd because she could take over her body when she was like dying with her head.
No,
chopped
she was
open.
already dead. She was probably already past the point where she would be scared of it dying because she was like, shit, this sucks.
Yeah.
Just before you're dying, you're like, shit, I don't want to die. But then when
she went to the acceptance of it.
Yeah, she went through the stages of
grief. The stages of it's not butter.
I just like that. That's one of my favorite memes. Yeah, I love it so much. But I really like the exchange how the War Devil Yoru appears here and it's like, okay, I have bad news and I have more bad news. One is we can't beat the Bat Devil. Second is I can take over your body, which means she already tried that before.
And it didn't work.
The second the Bat Devil showed up, she immediately tried to take over and realized, shit, I can't get in. And the way she's conveying this information is it's or rather how it's depicted, how her reaction is and how Asa is reacting to the situation is so good. The back and forth, the
one is all sweaty really and terrified. The other one is just kind of saying it.
Love it. That's why Fujimoto is so good. That's why everybody is appreciating his return.
Yeah, and everyone's loving these two together.
So, what do you think is going to happen next? Because
I think that it's going to be what you predicted a few weeks ago. That they're going to go on. That they're now on their devil hunting patrol, and they have indeed encountered a devil that's too much for them to handle. Yeah. So I think Denji is going to show up in Chainsaw Man form and save them.
Right.
And that'll be the introduction to Chainsaw Man. Not next week, in 2 weeks, because Jump Plus, so it's going to be a break.
So that's finally the break.
Yep.
The long-awaited
Jump Plus break.
But that's good. I
like saying things are like poetry, they rhyme, and in this case too, because the new duo has gone out, and their first big enemy is the Bat Devil, just like when Power and Denji went out, and their first big fight was the Bat Devil.
The difference is that this time we have to be scared of the characters.
Yes.
With Power and Denji, it's kind of like,
You can kill them and it's fine.
They're
They'll
probably going to be okay.
just revive. Yeah, no problem. Yuko and Asa, they're running at the end of this. They're scared.
I probably shouldn't be scared for Yuko.
Uh-huh.
Because there's a possibility, like, even if Denji shows up, or let's say even if Yoshida shows... No, wait. That wouldn't happen if it's only Yoshida. If Denji shows up and saves the day, that would give Asa enough relief that Yoru could take over again. And in that moment, when she's like, finally, Chainsaw Man, you show yourself.
Yeah, and she could immediately kill Yuko to turn her into a pumpkin.
That would be... I wouldn't want that. And
no, that's too fast.
It's too fast.
I want to have more time with Yuko.
I really hope that if the moment comes when Denji shows up, saves them, and Yoru takes over again, I hope she maybe considers grabbing Yuko and turning her into a weapon, but holding back and going like, no, we need to build up our affection meter more to have her become a bigger weapon.
Her S-Link is not completely filled yet.
Exactly.
Once it is, then she's going to become the ultimate weapon. Oh, just imagining, like, if this was a video game, it's like, yeah, you've got other characters that you can befriend, but then you sacrifice them to get super powerful weapons.
That's a cool mechanic.
And it makes it worse the longer you wait. But you have to wait a long time to make it worth it. But that's like, you have to like kill off a bunch of scrub characters.
Yeah,
soon after you hire them. Yeah.
You have
but
to,
then as
you have to befriend a bunch of guys like Kill Baby from Sakamoto days.
You haven't played XCOM 2, have you?
No.
Okay, so because one of the things about that game is that people, like, they get really heartbroken if one of their characters dies late in the game who's been with them for a long time, because there's a very high turnover rate of low level characters in that game.
Yeah, that game is nuts with its probabilities of hitting.
But like a lot of times you can get pretty good abilities when you get on higher levels. Then you'll start like decking out your higher level characters with really good equipment as well, and then they have better chances of living. And as it goes on, then you'll have a few people who basically become your main characters, and you're like, I've known you for the whole game. You've been with me for so long. It's like, imagine if not only that character is dying late in the game, but you're actually having to sacrifice them to get a superpower late in the game. That would make it so rough. But it would that would be the feel for this. I'm gonna write that down. That's like the game idea. Oh, really good idea. That's some that's one of those things, that a feeling that could only be conveyed in something where you have control as a player.
Right. I like that. Maybe Fujimoto was playing a game where you don't get to sacrifice your friends, and he was like,
I wish I could sacrifice my friends.
And then he realized, wait a minute, I'm a mangaka. I can do that on my own.
I'll make it happen. If they had that in a multiplayer game, it would like destroy friendships in real life. Like sacrificing your buddies in game to get a more powerful weapon.
Sacrifice your friends to get more time on the clock, maybe.
Yeah, is that a thing? That sounds like something that.
Of course it is, because that
Castle Super Beast thing. But was that from a real game?
No, that's just something that they spitballed like a long time ago, and they keep bringing it up. Okay. I think that might have been even a thing from Fighterpedia. That long ago.
Well, yeah. If they said it and they think it's funny enough to be a running gag, then let's get some game designers to make it happen. It'd be,
You know, do you remember when they were spitballing a Fortnite / PUBG game, except it's all wrestlers?
no.
Somebody
John
made that
Cena's
happen.
in
and
Fortnite
it's-
now, so
No,
it's basically
somebody.
real, right?
Well, yeah, but somebody must have listened to that and made that happen because such a game now exists.
What's it called?
I forgot.
Well,
Something
thanks for
like
bringing it up.
Something like Brawl City or something. It's not
Mhm.
Brawlhalla.
Not Brawlhalla.
It's also not Slap
Different
City,
Brawlhalla.
but they don't use all of the stuff that they talked about, so it's really unclear if
Okay.
the talk about such a game inspired the
If it
game
manifested it, or if it's just a
Yeah.
coincidence. Yeah.
it might be a coincidence. But I like
Be
to
a
think that
coincidence.
it inspired it because I like it when somebody just throws out a really crazy idea and then somebody just makes it happen.
And it's like, yes, that is a good idea. Well, I think, Fujimoto is giving us good ideas for non-existent games. Anyway, anything else to say? Did you have a rating for this chapter?
I never rate these, but I love them.
I do too. Yeah, I'm gonna give up on giving things numerical ratings. I'm always like, oh,
No.
I don't get deep enough into the numbers.
Fine. I'll continue, and eventually I will make my end of the year graph.
Yeah.
Where you get
Tier
to look at
list.
graph, and then we can.
Graph is better for going through the chapters of a whole year. 'Cause that'd be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Alright.
It's going to be very magnificent to look at graph.
I bet. All right. Well, we've been talking about Chainsaw Man for almost half an hour. So
Yeah, but we haven't talked about Chainsaw Man in like 10 minutes. So.
No,
We'll see
we've
you
been
in
talking
2
about
weeks.
the possible Chainsaw Man video game. Chainsaw
Right.
Man turn-based tactics. Chainsaw Man Tactics. That'd be a great
I'm
game.
looking forward to it. I want it.
Yeah, we'll reconvene to come up with more game mechanics in 2 weeks. All right, until then, our after-school special has only just
It's
begun.
only just begun.
See you next time.